The aim of this is to be a control deck, which is really good because Corruption has a lot of excellent control tools. Number one big boy here is Sanctum of the Void, always highly useful. Enemy hero sacrifices a creature. It only has a 3-turn cooldown, which is excellent if you can keep them low on creatures. So this struggles against decks that go very, very wide, which is why we have 4 Suffocates. It's also why we have all of the other removal that is good in Corruption. We're running 4 Consume Spirits because we're expecting to get a lot of Corruption levels. We're running Bloodwitch Harpies against those aggro deck type things. We're running the Death Curse Shaman because it's a good stall early, and additionally it can combine with your Suffocate to get an extra -2/-2 on a creature that might survive a Suffocate. So a few good reasons there. What else are we running here? So we're only running 3 Harpies because you don't want too many of these clogging up your hand in the wrong matchup, and you can typically find one running 3 in time in most matchups. Running 4 Mesmerizing Spirits because attacking hands is excellent. Running 4 Succubus gives you some healing, which is good against aggro decks. Good body, 3/3 flyer as well, so they can't just necessarily trade in the way they'd like to. And can push damage when you need to. And again, Eternal Servant's kind of similar idea to the Death Curse Shaman. This is a nice speed bump early on in the game, and again, like the Succubus, it does have that life gain, which is just going to help keep us around. We're also running Curse of Risha. This deck can sometimes have problems against the Rage control decks, whatever secondary color they're running, and this essentially shuts that down because they tend to play a lot of spells, and this will hurt them for that. We're also running 3 Tombs of the Damned. Potentially, if there's a lot of aggro, I would suggest 1 more Harpy, 1 less Tombs. If there's no aggro at all, 1 less Harpy, 1 more Tombs, because this just puts a clock on your opponents unless they have spell removal. What else have we got? We've got our standard Corruption Shrines. We haven't gone with Haunted Cemetery because I don't want to lose a card for a single zombie. I'm happy to lose a card for an infinite clock from Tombs. I'm not happy to lose a card for a single zombie. This might get me 2 or 3 eventually, but it's relatively low impact. Mausoleum of the Damned. How many 1-level creatures am I running? I'm running 4. So this is unlikely to get enough value that we care. And I am running 1 Pandemonium of Darkness. There it is. So it's under the spell, so it is 17 shrines, because reasonably often we are going to be playing this as a black level, a corruption level, I should say. And this will keep us in the game if we need to use it for the drain effect, and can sometimes, combined with your Succubus, really push that, that last bit of damage you might need. And our big heavy hitter, running 3 Bezaroks. So 3 is an interesting number. We could go down to 2 because this does need to wait until turn 8 before it can come down. But it's just such an impactful card. And if you can, late in the game, go back to back to back with Bezaroks, you're very likely going to win if you've managed to survive this far and you have 3 in your deck. If you have 2, you can miss them. If you have 1, then you never want to throw it away with Divine Offering. Whereas if you have 3, I'm pretty comfortable to always say, well, look, I can't play my Bezarok anytime soon. I'm going to chuck it back in the deck. And I know there's 3 in total, so I'm probably confidently grab another one. All that having been said, let's take it into a game. Here we are. I have a turn 3, and not much earlier, but I also don't necessarily expect him to start up. Now, remembering that we only have 4 2-drops, we have no proper 1-drops, I'm happy to keep this at this stage. I might regret that if he does somehow turn out to be an aggro deck, but he is signaling that he wouldn't be at this stage. Now, I'm actually going to take a corruption level here. Normally, I would draw, and here's me tossing that Bezarok as I was describing earlier. Normally, I would draw just to see what my next draw was, to have less chance of whiffing when I do Divine Offering. But there's a chance they play the New Horizons at this stage, and then I definitely want to have these already in place. Have the level already in place, I should say, so that I can use the spark given to me by New Horizons. All right. I would use the spark given to me by New Horizons so that I could play a Harpy, Mesmerizing Spirit the next turn. In this case, I removed that because there was nothing else to do. I'm very hopeful that I will not, with having now seen 11 cards on the Valley. I will see another 6 more trying to get rid of this Valley. So the natural draw plus the 5 you see in the Divine Offering. Hey, that's good. So here's an interesting choice. If I take Sanctum, I only run 1. I really, really want to use it to increase mana. Increasing mana doesn't actually let me do anything here. So I'm going to take my standard Corruption Shrine. I'm going to feel a little bit sad about it, but what can you do? I'm going to take my Corruption level, and I'm going to Mesmerizing Spirit. This is really important because it challenges the board. It lets me do something on my turn. Otherwise, I'd be doing nothing on my turn. I'd start gathering a lot of resources in hand, which, it's nice to have those resources, but if you're not actually playing anything to the board, some of these decks, depending on exactly what Ravager is playing at the moment, can really start to get out of hand. I'm okay with him using the Power Discharge there. Even though it doesn't really affect his resources, it actually stops him making perhaps a more tempo play. And as a control deck, I just want to keep his tempo as low as it can be. Oh, that is a truly bad situation to be in. So here I have 2 options. I could play this for mana. Playing this for mana doesn't actually give me anything else this turn. I could play it for a level. That way I don't lose the card. But I also value having corruption levels because I do run these consume spirits, right? So instead I'm going to hold it because it's useful to have a Valley in the deck in case I miss future Divine Offerings as well. So I'm going to accept I'm going to be behind where I might be in terms of my mana curve by 1. But I do have this protection against Divine Offering just losing me cards in hand continuously. And that's not what I want to see. I do want to kind of rush up to this Suffocate. Okay, I'm very glad to have gotten a Shrine there. Now, here's an interesting question. I essentially always want to Suffocate next turn, but I can prep my Death Curse Shaman, and if he chooses to trade, then I don't need to Suffocate. If he chooses not to trade, then my Death Curse Shaman can function as an amplifier to my Suffocate. So if he plays something big here now, something with, more health than it has speed, Suffocate won't kill that. Having a Death Curse Shaman on the board already will make it feasible to still deal with any threats that appear. So we'll see what Ravager goes for here. Okay, so he's happy to let me initiate this. He'll get 2 damage in, but in theory I can remove both of these, and then he's probably going to play something large afterwards. It's a very nice Shrine to get there. So he still actually has 3 mana, so I expect that perhaps he has some Flash Freezes. What did I see that he was running that? Yes, so he is running Flash Freeze, so potentially he's holding something in this instance. I am going to just play my clock, though, because at the moment I've only seen Mono Blue, evidently an energy deck as well. I'm going to take this opportunity to chuck away a Suffocate, because I don't know how wide they're going. It looks like this is a mid to late game deck that happens to have some early, somewhat control features, right? So this is going to replace itself, and it can also slow down an aggro deck. This is going to slow down an aggro deck, and it can be quite an effective blocker as a 2-1 there. Now, here's an interesting choice. This is shocked, which is unfortunate. I could go straight for the Infernal Tribute, and perhaps I should, but I'm not going to. I'm going to instead take my Corruption level, and it's between this, which punishes him for playing spells and cycles, or it's this, which can get me started on my continuous card draw. Now, I'm seeing that he's very low on cards currently anyway, so I'm actually not concerned about him having continuous card draw. I am concerned about him playing cards effectively for a long period of time. Now, I have 2 Consume Spirits now. That is excellent, because next turn I am absolutely planning on Consuming Spirit here, but he is probably going to give this more energy this coming turn. So having the 2 means that I will definitely be able to deal with this. Alternatively, I am very happy to Infernal Tribute this +1 other. I might not be able to do it if he plays 2 additional minions, however. I could have Infernal Tributed this turn, and it's very possible that that was the play that I should have made. I chose not to because I want to get more value from it if I can, because I'm a greedy bastard. Ah, that's beautiful. That's so lovely. And here, instantly rewarded. So, look at this. These are 2 very high power cards for him. My board is slowly growing anyway. I'm not too fussed. I have healing from this hero power. When I do get around to it, it's going to be lovely. And now he has lost all of that tempo that he just invested his last 2 turns in, whereas I have maintained tempo and in fact gained from this early investment in the tombs. And this is where tombs can just really run away with a game. And here we go. So we're looking at that Consume Spirit that I was even potentially setting up earlier, because now I can take my 4th level, and I am very happy to consume from here. I'm going to put it on this guy because this guy can attack. Here we go. Swing in for 6. Excellent time. That's the way. Now here, I have a board. He probably has board clears in his deck, so I'm going to use this opportunity to pick up the basic Darius hero power. There it is. All right. And I'm going to look for a shrine. I value the Curse Shaman with the Suffocate. I value the Consume Spirit with 4 levels. Eternal Servants, I don't really feel I need life gain at the moment, so that's what dumps. And we did get a shrine, which is excellent. And I still do have that security, so I am behind by 1. Actually, I ended up getting ahead, so perhaps he's also whiffed at some stage here. He played 2 Valley of the Ancients. That's also why his hand is so small. I think 2 Valleys is a mistake, personally, because I think it's better to just accept that you're behind by 1, especially in these later game scenarios, than to go down that far. And here is the Curse of Risha starting to come into its own as well. So he's going to be trapped behind the 4. And we know that Wisdom decks typically do like to draw a lot through card use. So now I'm wondering, if I play Bezerok here, what's the downside? I'm not seeing one. I'm going to toss a Death Curse Shaman first. Ooh, do I want Pandemonium? Not at this stage. I want a Corruption Shrine. I'm going to do this with the Death mechanic. Often Bezerok I use as a control tool. In this case, I'm ahead, so I can use its Death mechanic, which means if he does have a full board clear, which surely it's being run, then I can go off with that. At the very least, it's 3 burst from a Succubus, but there are a couple of other interesting things you can do with the demons that you can get from a Bezerok. I'd also like to point out at this stage, running 3 Bezeroks, I have 2 more in here. Alright, those are somewhat annoying to take care of. This will help. Actually, that's just such an excellent draw of that shrine. I have been looking for it since I tossed it in that early game. It would have come back eventually, and it did. So I'm going to consume the 3/3. That can come over to my good mate Bezerok. Here we are. And this is essentially game. Goodbye to the 5/5. And we swing. And that felt really clean. There was that early miss Divine Offering, and I think I made the correct choice to accept that I would be behind on mana. I ended up ahead on mana anyway, because the opponent made some different choices regarding that, not only in that specific instance, but also in their deck design. Let's get back into queue to Spellweaver. Here we are. Let's make sure that's updated. Fantastic, we're here. All right. This is a not great hand. I do have a turn 3 play. I do have a turn 4 play. I'm concerned about the lack of shrines, but it's usable, so I'm going to keep it. So this is really a turn 4 play as well. No, turn 3, turn 4, there. Well, let's see what my value gets me first. Oh, I really value having a Sanctum. Going to take the Corruption level, because the mana from a Sanctum just gives them information at this stage. That's a very nice pickup. I don't know what they're playing yet. I want to keep the Harpy in case. Consume is very useful later. At the moment, I don't think I need 2 Suffocates, so I'm going to toss one of those. Didn't find anything. I'm happy to then use the Sanctum just to keep my mana ticking up. Not having the best luck with shrines today, but that's okay. Next turn will be a hard one if I don't get a shrine, though. Oh, that's beautiful. So very happy I've held onto that Harpy. Oh, there's a shrine. Good stuff. He has just played a Reincarnation Spirit, so now is possibly the best time I can do a Mesmerizing Spirit. I don't want him discarding Reincarnation Spirits. That's just bad for me. This is not too bad, though. He'll swing in for 2, and then I can Harpy, which is very nice. Assuming, again, I do get a Shrine, which would be, assistive. Always with a white deck, we do need to keep in mind that Pacify is an available combat trick for them around this time. I'm going to toss my Succubus, because it's a long way off, and I don't feel pressured for health, so I don't need to save up for it. I don't mind if my Mesmerizing Spirit gets pacified. And now we Harpy. This does ramp him by 1, so he will be up to potentially 4 mana, which is where the interesting Inquisitors and such start to come down. But in theory, I can do a Soul Prison the coming turn as well, which is just helpful to have already prepared. I'm perfectly fine with that being their turn, so that 1 mana they've in fact wasted at this stage. They can try playing the Reincarnation. I still do have the Harpy up, so there's not a huge amount of point to that. Here's an interesting one. Noxious Fumes with Suffocate, or I can pre-pep the Death Curse Shaman. This turn, I definitely want a Tombs, which makes this, I'm less likely to have the time to pre-prep this, but also this needs me to wait for turn 5 to combine with Suffocate, and it's just one of those things, see where you're playing. The real version, what I'm actually going to go for is neither one of those. I'm just going to toss away my Servants here, because, again, I don't feel the pressure that I need life gain or board presence in the immediate, so I'm going to go with the long-term plan of Tombs. Now, what is annoying here is the Harpy's going to tick first in the coming turns, so I'm always going to have only 1 zombie that will have just been summoned. It will ramp me slightly, though, so, ups and downs. And if he does remove my Harpy, then Tombs will start to kick off a bit more. Or that can happen, in which case, that's some of his big removal. I'm pretty okay with that. I don't think I need 2 Fumes, so that's going to go away. So, what I'm going to do here, because I have the 5 mana, I am going to pre-prep my Death Curse Shaman. It is going to die to the Harpy next turn, but this can be used to prevent to prevent my opponent from playing anything which will just die to the shaman. So he's going to see this, understand that small things are probably not something he wants to play. He's going to see my Soul Prison active and understand that big things are something he probably doesn't want to play, which means for at least this turn, there's not really a lot of stuff he wants to play. He can use the Underground Castle to remove this, but if that's his whole turn again, it's a pretty rubbish turn. Okay, so this is not too bad for him, because this can only remove one of them. Nonetheless, I do, of course, take that opportunity, and I do remove that one. This is more threatening up. I would much rather use a Fumes to remove this. I don't need 2 Bezeroks at this stage, so I will definitely get rid of one of those in preference for a Shrine, with which I will draw. And I'm just going to Fumes that down. Excellent. Now, he still has his Reincarnation Spirit in there, and he has the mana up for a Pacify. But the good news is, next turn I have a Bezerok. So if he pacifies, I'm pretty happy that it's being used now instead of on my Bezerok. Alternatively, I get through 2 damage. Maybe he doesn't have Pacify. Maybe I'm thinking about something irrelevant. But it's always worth understanding that, and understanding that even if he used it, that is the preference there. 2 damage is nothing bad either. Better than nothing. Haha. So that was a really good Curse of Risha, because it cycled. It still dealt its 1 damage. Oh, he's using all his removal. So he has no mana left now. So this is going to be... Oh, actually, this is going to be harder than I thought. So in a control deck, your aim is to have all of the resources and for your opponent to have few. Based on that, I actually care less about my tempo play of the Bezerok here. Instead, I'm going to use this for mana, see what I get. Fantastic. And I really want to press that Thorough Study button whenever I can. And I still do have something playable here. It will thin my deck out a little bit as well. I'm less likely to draw another Servants, which is, you know, it's a pretty dead card at this stage in the game for me. So the reason you pick Darius is because card advantage is our secret to winning in this match. If I can, over time, make his number go down and make my number go up, I'm just going to have more resources than him and win. And that's why we play these multiple destruction cards like the Suffocate. It's worth keeping in mind he has an Underground Castle always. I do want this to die. I'm just contemplating how I want to do that. At this stage, I am going to take the mana. I still don't want to spend this time doing a Bezerok play. I am going to instead... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's perfect. I don't even need that much. At the moment, I'm deciding, do I value the Soul Prison being up, or do I value the Consume Spirit in hand? And I'm actually just going to use the Soul Prison, because I know this is worth 4. I know I can play it with a Suffocate as well. And I just want to utilize this resource. I'm choosing from my deck. I don't want to draw these anymore. These are essentially useless cards now. This guy's running a lot of spell removal, which means my Tombs is not a helpful draw at any stage at the moment, but I don't much mind. I don't need it to win this game. I can just slowly make him out of resources over time. You'll notice that I am starting to develop a board presence here as well. That's fine. So I'll just consume that. The second one's harder. Ooh. I could toss the Consume to keep the Suffocate, or I could toss the Suffocate to keep the Consume. Realistically, I'm actually going to Bezerok to remove both of those. Beautiful. Have I just lied again? Am I not going to Berserk? Am I going to Succubus, consume, and draw or something like that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's just too many. Okay, I've put this off for far too long. Here it comes. I really like using Berserk as removal, somewhat due to Pacify existing, because this will not be guaranteed to get any value from its attack. That is specifically dies. Okay. So he's got some removal here through, a Powerlust Incarnate. That's interesting. So in that regard, I really, really should have kept this up. It's fine. I'm probably going to start aiming to be aggressive now. Start going for a kill. And I'm so committed to that, I'm actually happy to put 2 cards into here. I'm somewhat expecting that now to be pacified. However, there we go. That's the bit. So that'll die in a second, and I'm not too fussed. But it has forced him to use a resource here as well. I'm okay with that because I use 2 resources, 2 and a half maybe, but I actually don't even think of these as a card anymore. This is waste for a big card of his, so definitely a card. And then like half a card here. So it's still resource to resource. This is still getting the life gain from it, so that's okay. This is also resource to resource. Again, a renewable hero power versus a card from hand. The card from hand is more valuable. But, we'll get there. He does have a lot of card advantage over me now. Now, I think that's a mistake. I very much think that's a mistake. I like keeping the tribute, and I want both Succubi, and I have enough mana. I don't feel that I'm fussed to get shrines, so I am going to just simply do this turn here and push. So this is where we start looking at really the efficacy of these drain effects. So this is still quite powerful on board. It still fights that Death Curse Shaman that's out there. But now I'm making that consistent threat of, I can actually just kill you at some stage. Unless he does stuff like this. But that's not even life gain, is it? So, I think we're fine. Now we have 2, 3. So whatever his worst 3 creatures are, I can remove. And if it's those 3, I'm not too fussed. Excellent. Here we go. Good stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to swing in for our 1, because this is going to die this turn anyway, probably due to the Death Curse Shaman. We're going to make him sacrifice something. I'm going to take this opportunity to cycle the Shaman. Probably should have done that first, see if I drew any other interesting card options. I didn't. And these 2 can go away as well. Hooray! Now you'll notice that because I've been taking some bad trades for tempo and life and all of these things, where he has been getting more effective use of his cards, that I am behind on cards. I have 1 in hand, he has 4 in hand. This is going to help me equalize that, and this is going to help me equalize that. Or I could just win. Hooray! 2 for 2, not doing too badly at this stage. There's a quest done. Woo! There's another quest done. Woo! There's another quest done. Woo! All right. And back to the queue. Good. All right, Craig 234. I remember that name. I only have one shrine here, but I have such a nice curve that I'm going to keep this and hope. Typically I would prefer to have 2 shrines in my opening hand. I'm going to toss the Bezarok. It's far too long till I get there. I am going to take the Sanctum and Corruption Shrine, and I'm not going to use that. I'm going to keep this for probably as long as I can. That's fine. Good. I'm going to toss that Succubus. Going to take the mana here. Now, Death Curse doesn't actually positively impact the board. I can't attack with it anyway into that Relic Guard. Curse of Risha starts to put a clock on him, and it cycles. Oh, yay, another shrine. I'm happy. Next turn is probably going to be the level into the Spirit. I have all the time in the world, so I'm not too fussed about this Relic Guard. To me, that's a non-card at the moment, until he gets some pre-synergy out. This is actually a little bit concerning. Now, Exorcism, what do I want to drop? Suffocate is going to be excellent. Fumes, I kind of want to play this turn. Tombs or Consume are both kind of, well, I don't need them yet. And I actually value this removal, so I'm going to get rid of the Tombs. I'm running 2 more. I might well find another one. But as we can see, this is a more tempo-oriented deck. We don't need to set them on a clock. We're already on a clock. So I want to rush up to my Suffocate instead of rush up to my Tombs. I'm going to take the Corruption level here. I'm going Spirit. I'll happily trade this into a 1/1. That is a good card to remove. Very happy to see that in the graveyard. Now the good news is I can coin into Suffocate next turn, which is really excellent. Oh no, Craig, look at your deck size. 66, 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 78, 81 cards. No, that's not a card. 80 cards? What are you doing? So having above the minimum number of cards is often a mistake. Oh, I love that he's spending his mana doing that. The fact that he doesn't have anything better to spend his mana on is astounding. This trade here means I can actually save my Suffocate. So I only have 1 Suffocate in hand right now. I don't really want to spend it if I don't have to. I'm going to take the Sanctum at this stage because I want to be able to level and then instantly have it rather than need to wait longer. But at the moment, it's definitely just Death Curse and Fumes, and I am set up well. Next, it's going to be Shrine and Reincarnate, unless he does something to pressure me. This Ray on the Curse of Risha. I paid 2 mana, and it replaced itself. He paid 3 mana. It did not replace itself. That was just so good for me. So beautifully excellent. All right, and we're back. What's happened? Did he seriously do nothing? Oh, that's so bad for him. I'm so sorry. I'm going to do this because my hand is looking smallish and I want the heal, and that's basically my thought process there. I do value having a second Death Curse, so I keep it. I do value having a Consume Sphere. I do value having a Suffocate. I do have extra mana here. I still have a Shrine in hand. I'm not too fussed about needing to DO this turn. I'm very happy to play the long game and wait. And he's also got a lot of cards in hand. So again, I am down. But over time, because I'm getting this working early, I'm going to draw more over time, slowly. I also have various cards that should do more than 1 for 1. Oh, that's annoying. Three, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. So here, this is fun. I'm going to consume for 3. Take that. Wondrous. This is a big boy, right? So this is something absolutely that I'm happy to use a Soul Prison on. And then I even get to push 4 damage. Like, I don't necessarily care about the damage that I do to him, because the longer the game goes, the more likely I am to win. I'm healthy enough. Don't need the servants. Alright. Take the speed. Yeah. Actually, don't. It doesn't matter if he takes the speed or not. Just don't take the HP, please. He didn't take the HP. He did take the speed. Fantastic. So I can suffocate and kill that, right? I don't know if I will yet, but, you know, it's worth knowing. The alternative play is... I could Mesmerizing and draw. I really want to kill that. This is going to die when I suffocate anyway, so I might as well try and get 1 damage in. He accepts it because he figures I might have some different form of removal to help, which is good logic. It's 1 damage, but also it just means that I can do that. Yeah, I'm happy. That was me considering whether to DO or not. I've already got a Shrine. This is all playable. Whew, another one. He's not going to be a happy chap in a moment. Don't take the health. Oh, thank you so much. That's interesting. I'm going to go with the guaranteed kill. Again, I'm putting 2 cards into his 1 card reasonably often, right? I like all of these. For 1 threat, I have that. For multiple threats, I want Suffocate, so I'll toss the Consume. I definitely wanted another Shrine there, because I'm not at the stage where I have enough mana to consistently draw whenever the power is up. I definitely want to keep the Mesmerizing because I want to keep him discarding. I really hope he's looking to play Antriel soon, because that would be really nice with my Soul Prison back up. Oh, beautiful draws. Come on, discard something big. Discard a Pacify. That is big, actually. And Array. So now I can essentially play any of my big stuff very confidently. Okay, so that's why I was keeping Suffocate, in case he's looking to, you know, have a bunch of weenies out. But this is a very mixed deck. So look, 80 cards in his deck. I'm getting consistency in my draws, and essentially he's not. I am, of course, going to double block this. I don't care about bodies on the board. I care that he doesn't have bodies, because then my Soul Prison is more useful if he plays something big. I guess I could have only traded 1 and then relied on the Harpy. That was perhaps the play. That might have been bad on my part. Okay, now I'm at 8 mana, so now I'm well and truly in the stage where I'm just going to start pressing this top button here, the Thorough Study, as often as I can. And look, my Tomb showed up again. If I had a deck that was 80 cards, that would have happened. It would have taken so much longer to show up. Now, despite him having 3-card advantage on me earlier, with this button, I mean, I've pressed it twice now. I'd have 2 cards. I have double the cards because of this button. It's amazing. I value everything in my hand. I don't care about shrines, so I'm just going to keep on keeping on. Surely you're running Antriel. Play it. And presumably some other things, so that you can protect yourself from Soul Prison. No? Do you just have nothing? I'm so sorry, Craig. Da-da-da-da. Do I ever have a kill? I potentially have a kill through Consume Spirit onto here or something. I don't know. I'm not even thinking about it too much, simply because I fully expect that there's a pacify in his hand, and I continue winning if I don't respond to it. And again, this is all removal. Love a hand of removal. I'll keep pressing this button, and this one's still up. I don't really care about increasing my mana count at this stage. That was a much better Ray of Righteousness from him. And that's another reason why it was pretty okay for me to toss that initial Tombs. All right, 3-0. And a new quest. 1500, 1750. Take 1750. Excellent. This hand has far too many shrines, so we draw again. And this hand also has a lot of shrines, but here we go, and we will pass that turn. I have been queuing up throughout the day to try and get 4, 5, and 6, so now I'm committed because this game finally popped. That low population does hurt. So, just been playing shrines, and here we go. Fantastic. So, we're going to Fumes that. We'll look at what our next card is, see if we want a DO. What do we want a DO? Bezarok is a long way away at this stage, so I'm happy to get rid of that. There we go. So probably a priest deck or a priest assassin, you know that. Never mind. Something different. 3 shrines, interesting. 3 different aspects there. I'm going to take the Harpy here, just get that out for some tempo, and then we've got the Tombs coming in next turn, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. I don't know if I've seen this card played in ages. Oh, that's not what you want to play here, my friend. So he'll swing for 3, and I won't care. Oh, he'll swing for 7, and I still won't care. Only until end of turn, so if I'm happy to take another 4 damage, and that will have been 2 mana, 8 damage. It's not too bad, I'm fine with it. In the meantime, let us quickly retaliate slightly. Gonna smack him, and get our value engine down. Now, I'm actually going to value life here, because I am a little bit low, and I'm planning on trading life for cards. So I'm going to get rid of one of these smaller guys, with the expectation that I'm going to Succubus next turn. Choosing to keep Pandemonium as potentially a spell I'll use later, because I fully intend to use this shrine as a shrine next turn. Ooh, okie dokie. Absolutely fine. Here we go, and we're just going to forget our other plan because I do have that 1 extra mana, and I'd like to use it all, and this still heals me. So I'm very okay with it, and it does put us back onto that value game plan. I do want to keep the Succubi. I do think I am going to play them. Probably not going to play the Death Curse Shaman, really. Ooh, that's such a good pickup. Very excited by the Sanctum, and let's hit him. Pacify? No Pacify. 3 colors is interesting. So what could he be playing? So, I mean, the Power Surge makes sense, because you do want to ramp up. Holy Radiance is interesting. That's not gonna... Well, I mean, it affects the fact that I won't be playing Succubus, but other than that, it doesn't really affect anything. Just won't play into it. I can save this for when I actually want to use the Sanctum, so I can surprise him slightly. And this lets me see more draws. So I'll hit him, and then pass the turn. or that'll happen, which is also fine. Beautiful. Yeah, block it. It's probably not worth it. Hey, Contrary, how are you? I've just started up the stream again. I did 3 games earlier, and I'm hoping for another 3 games. Started it up just as this game popped up, so hoping to get some extra games in today. Doing well in this current one. Not going to play anything this turn because of the Holy Radiance. But yeah, I'm doing well. I have the tombs giving me constant value. I have so many cards in hand. Melfix here has nothing, essentially. I've got 2 Curse of Rishas, so there's not so much that this guy can do. It's been a while since I've been playing as well, honestly. I'm just trying to get back into it. I don't stream often, but I thought, oh, well, this is a deck I used to be pretty comfortable with, so I probably still am. Here I'm going to chuck the Harpy because I've got the tombs up and they're kind of anti-synergistic. So the way I anticipate this game going is this is just going to slowly flood my board. I have healing through my Succubus. I have Infernal Tribute. I have the Soul Prison coming back. I have Suffocate. I have Consume Spirit. I have Noxious Fumes. I have all of the removal. And there we go. Nice, quick, easy win. And we'll head back in queue there. And a really good example of that is in Magic the Gathering. Fog as a card. Pay 1 or 2 mana. I'm going to redraw this because I want an earlier play, and I would prefer to have an extra shrine as well. And hey, I got the earlier play, didn't get the shrine, but that's okay because of Divine Offering. But then Turbo Fog became a deck when enough fog effects were printed that you could just stop a game progressing for your opponent in terms of the way they want to win. I'm not going to ever coin out one of these because that's relatively minor at this stage in the game, and potentially coining to a Harpy or coining to a Suffocate becomes a lot more relevant later. But that's kind of like, even just looking at this hand, this is removal, this is removal, this is removal. These cycle, so they could also become removal very easily. This is hand removal, and I've just drawn more removal. It's removal all the way down. I'm going to go straight for the curse, I think. Partially because I want to keep just filtering through the deck. I'm going to toss my other curse away because I don't think I have the time to play it. Definitely going to take the Sanctum here because I only run 1 and I really, really want it to be the 3rd mana crystal I create so that when I level up to 3, it's available that turn. All right, so there's an Exorcism coming through. This is actually complex, and now I kind of wish I'd kept the Curse of Risha because I would absolutely get rid of that to the Exorcism. Am I expecting this person to run big, in which case I keep this, or run wide, in which case I keep this? Because I'm already going to have a sacrifice effect, and because this is more valuable to me, I am going to toss this for now. But that is a close decision, and it's not clearly cut. Just going to go for the hand attack there. And again, the whole hand is removal at this stage, which means Suffocate. If they don't play enough for this to be worth it, great. I'm going to Noxious Fume something. I'm going to Death Curse Shaman. I'm going to Bloodwitch Harpy, or I'm going to Sanctum on the Void if these can't kill it, right? So it's just that rock and a hard place kind of situation. I should have DO'd there. Played too quickly. All right, well, again, I want to keep that Suffocate. I'm going to chuck the Fumes here. So it's looking like he's reasonably controlly at this stage. He's got the Power Lust Incarnate. He might not be increasing the speed on that. Maybe it was more correct in that case to keep the Infernal Tribute. Certainly now that I've drawn the 3rd Suffocate, that would be preferable. But, that's all knowledge that I didn't have at that time necessarily. So always hard to say. How did that end up in there? I don't feel like I need 3 of these, but I might. But I don't think I will. I'd rather keep the Death Curse because it also has synergy at an earlier stage. So these 2 together, I need 8 mana. These 2 together, I only need 6. and that's in 2 turns if I keep this spark up. I don't know how this died. Should pay more attention. So that's absolutely fine. I do lose a resource, but it already got a card out of hand, and now he's spent all that tempo. And if he spends tempo on... If I have a tempo advantage, I should say, in this deck, I'm feeling very happy because I am quite confident that I can take the long game. Here, I could go for that tempo again, but I actually feel like I'm low on cards, so I kind of just want to start getting this engine running. This almost always is basic Darius. There's so rarely any time where you'd want it to be something else. I'm not feeling fussed for life. He's not got anything I need to block, really, so I'm just going to chuck the servants. I don't feel like I need them at the moment. And again, that removal is what I want. What did he discard it for, though? Like, I don't see anything that would have made him want to discard. I don't know. Oh, yes, I played the bloody Mesmerizing Spirit. Yeah, no, that makes sense. He discarded it to that. I'm a fool. It's just like, oh, the card number's gone down. What did he discard? It doesn't matter. And here we go. This is perfect. So I am just going to press the button there. And that's a fantastic draw as well. I am very much considering just sparking out the Mesmerizing Spirit here. Yes, goodbye, Garamesh. You are despised by me and everyone else who has to play against you, presumably. I am going to spark out this Spirit here, just because the later the game gets, the less value the spark necessarily has, and at this stage, I do just want to get that tempo out. My hand is looking a little bit thinner than I'd like. I really want to make sure that I can use Thorough Study next turn. Let's see what he goes for here with the lure. Okay, well, I'm just going to get rid of the Death Curse Shaman there. It's unfortunate, but I think the Suffocates are more useful. Can you tell I love Suffocate? And here we go. See what we get. That's not bad. I'm still going to press the button. I'm not feeling pressured. More Suffocates. Suffocates all the way down. I'm very okay with this trade. That's fine. I am going to chuck one of these back, though. I don't think I need 3, and I would rather have the surety of 2 of these in hand. I do run 1 Pandemonium. I tend to only look for it when I'm close to draining them out. So I do run the 4 Succubus, I do run the 3 Bezarok, and I run the 1 Pandemonium, and those are all reasonable drain effects that can just incidentally get their life total down while you're still maintaining a board. It's not about attacking them directly, it's just incidental, and then you can push. Incidental damage as well from the Curse of Risha, which is really nice. It just puts a limit on them and what they can do. And this is a beautiful turn for me. I'm just going to Curse again, and then I'm going to Succubus, and here we are. So he can play 6 more spelly spells this time. I'm going to chuck the Servants, because that's going to die to a Suffocate, and I have a feeling I'm playing one soon. I have been holding them since the beginning of the game. I do have the Bezarok as well, so if he goes, with something massive right now, I can use the first ability of Bezarok, and then that just clears that for me as well. Underground Castle is always a fun one. That effect is, quite strong sometimes. Okay, yeah, cool. So here we're just going to Bezarok, get rid of that Karthus. Don't like it, don't need it. I'm just looking at my other options. I could potentially Suffocate, which gets rid of that and puts that down, and then press the Soul Prison. I think the Bezarok's stronger because it puts something into play as well, though. It does make me sad that I'm not pressing the draw button. But either way, this time in the game, I wasn't going to be pressing that draw button. Entirely possible he has another Karthus here. If he does, that's just unfortunate. And then I do what I was also thinking about last turn. And again, I'm sad to not be pressing that draw button, but I've got these shrines, I'm going to get more cards, and eventually I'm going to get to that tipping point where I can just press this every time it's up. That is annoying. Same play, though, is still here. Potentially still here for most things in my deck. Yeah, perfect, easy. That's fine. So Suffocate, Soul Prison, and we've got a full clear. I'm still really healthy. He still has to watch how many spells he plays ever. Feeling pretty good about this game. This is a better draw. These are all single level creatures. This is a full clear that only uses one card of mine. Fantastic. What a top deck. You got rid of one, I'm running two others, matey. Beautiful. Now he's down to two cards in hand because he did kind of overextend there. If I had one more mana, Suffocate could have been an answer to that. He will, of course, be bringing back his Reincarnation Spear at some point, so he's got one extra card than it says here, so he is up a bit more on that. He is going to start taking incidental damage if he keeps doing stuff like Power Surge, though, which is really okay from me. Garamesh goes for the trade with the Bezarok. That's great, because Bezarok did a full clear, and then he had to use a card on it as well. That's really what you want to see. I'm not concerned about 1-3-3 at all. So I am happy to say I want to have this draw. I also want to play Tombs. I just kind of want to get this clock to start ticking. And I'm also just going to prep my Death Curse Shaman. No, I'm not, because I don't have the mana for that. I'm going to chuck one Fumes. I think I did already play a Shrine this turn, so I wouldn't have had the mana anyway, but, this is fine. And I'm just going to call it there. If he wants to get the value trade, I'm cool with that. If he wants to go for my face, that's fine too. I have so much life at this stage in the game. I feel like I've got this down, unless he's got something that I just really am missing in his deck. I think an Antriel might be hard to deal with, but, that's such a fringe case. I'm going to chuck the Fumes here. Again, this does bigger. Alright, well, here's my full clear Suffocate Death Curse. Excellent. And I've still got that Soul Prison up, so if he does... Oh, Antriel's 2 white anyway, so we can't even have that. I'm just going to chuck away the Valley first, see what I get in the box. Nothing interesting, that's okay. Consume Spirit. Feel like? Is this more useful than the Suffocate? It's hard to say. I can get more done this way, I think. I get to save my Death Curse Shaman. Yeah, I like this. He's only got 2 cards in hand. If there's another Karthus, I might regret having done that, but, we'll figure it out. Ah, my Bezarok. Why? That doesn't matter. That doesn't affect anything, so I'll take the 2 life gone. There we go. Oh, excellent draw. Even better draw. Fantastic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, beautiful. Say goodbye to that one. His hope is Lure. Do I remember what Lure is? Oh, you mean the hero power? Yeah, but I mean, even then, because I'm getting 1.5 cards a turn, whereas he gets an extra 1 1/3 cards, I guess, through this. I'm not too fussed. I'm still going to keep both Suffocates at this stage. I'm not expecting that I will do the 8 mana power play, but I think it is still a useful card at this stage. Using the 3 speed here, using the 2 speed here, I can always trade in and then suffocate as well. But I really do think this game is essentially done. Was that an order issue? No, it wasn't. Okay, here comes the Incarnate. Beautiful, there's a 6/6. I wonder if I can somehow convince him. Lure on my Succubus will be interesting. I am very healthy at the current stage. How many Succubus have I played? I have only played one. This is a little bit annoying. I'm going to do this. No, I'm not. This is going to die. I really want... Okay, so what this turn is going to be is going to suck, and I'm going to feel terrible about what I'm about to do. But I'm essentially going to sacrifice all of this and then probably use both of these. My hope is that he'll block with his Power Lust Incarnate when I do this. We'll see if he does. I want this to block this one, because it saves me a card, and it keeps my zombies on the field. Oh, yes, do it. Ah, well. At either rate, I did end up pushing 2 more damage this way, so that's okay. And here we are. I think I still have one in the deck. Yes, good. And now, really unfortunately, I have no cards. Neither does he. I'm going to draw 2 next turn. He's got 1 in hand. What is it? 1 in hand also... Soul Prison becomes more and more valuable the less resources they have. I am keeping quite healthy here as well. I do not want Noxious Fumes. Succubus is exactly what I want. I'm going to toss this just to see if I can cycle it for something else. Fantastic. So I have an excellent amount of removal. I still have this ticking clock on the board. There's now only 2 Succubi in my deck. My deck is getting slightly thin, so in some ways I do need to start worrying about just running out of cards. But my Consume Spirit this coming turn, he no longer has any of these shrines that could potentially help him. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? This one. That can be used to stop an attack, I believe. And now it can't. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. He's not going to be able to play spells anymore. And his healing hero ability still has some time left on it, which is fine. So this is all for me, thank you. Goodbye to your blocker. Yes, swing in. Good, lovely, bring that out. Excellent. And I'd say the game is set, unless he's maybe a Karthus. Karthus isn't enough of a blocker. I don't see how he gets past this. Even, oh well, here we go. Suffocate kills both of those, and then I can swing in. Hooray! Let's see what I would also draw, just because. Yeah, so massive overkill. There was that one time I had no cards, but he also had no cards, and I can draw faster. And that's essentially how this deck wins. And those tombs, like, definitely helpful. I mean, this has been an archetype since the beginning of the game. This is not a bad opening hand. I'd like one more shrine, but I've got a 1, I've got a 2, I've got, well, a pseudo 3, could be a 4, you know. Yes, Mono Order is easier to play, but I would suggest that this is the stronger deck. Hey, a shrine. I'm gonna go ahead and take the corruption level in case he like does some weird shenanigans. I'm going to toss. Ooh, it's hard to say what I want here more, but considering Advanced Neva, I want to attack his hand, so I'm going to toss the servants. Definitely take the Sanctum here. Here's a mistake that's fun. 56, 57, 63, 64 card deck. Why? It just reduces the consistency of your deck. As a general rule, you should never have more than the minimum of 60 cards. Now, there are sometimes very niche cases where that's not true, but the consistency you get and the card quality you get by playing only 60 is almost always super relevant. This is still a great hand. I have 2 shrines. I don't need to DO this turn. Death Curse Shaman into Jungle Death Trap is always fun. It's just like, yeah, this is removal and also have 2 damage. Woo! I kind of wanted this to die anyway. Hooray! Worst case here would probably be Elven Summoner into another 2 level. Potentially, if that doesn't happen, I'm looking at sparking out the Harpy. I'm no longer looking at sparking out the Harpy. Here I can just Spirit, though. It gets rid of that and attacks his hand, and it's just another one of those things of, my cards do more than one thing. Hooray! Here we go. So Order Nature used to be run with Hermelion a lot. I know that Hermelion has the 3 order requirement now instead of order something. Jungle Death Trap. Look, it's a really strong early drop. Because he's been playing big stuff, I don't think Noxious Fumes is going to be invaluable. So I'm going to toss one of those away, just because I want to try and maintain myself at 2 shrines, especially while I've got such a big hand. Jungle Death Trap can take a game, like just straight up. But also, it can sometimes not. I do want that to die. Now I kind of wish I'd kept my other fumes. The good news is Sanctum is happening next term when I've got the level for it as well. Let's toss the Valley, see if I get something. All right, so, well, this turn isn't ideal, but it's just going to be the Harpy, and we're going to call that some tempo development. I would have loved to have the resources to get rid of this. I really wish I had that second Fumes. I don't mind doing a 2-for-1 against what is probably one of the strongest cards in their deck. What I'm really scared of is that getting out of control, which is why I'm really happy to have the Soul Prison here. Yeah, Jungle Death Trap is always for tempo. It's a really nice protection for an existing board in a way, because it can soak up things like Arrow Barrage or Snowstorm or anything like that. But it does have that weakness of, it is that pre-removal that just dies. All right, can't play Fumes. Got to keep that in mind. Gonna put on a second one? No. Oh, that's a big hit. I do not like that. And I still can't play Fumes. Really wish I could play Fumes. So, if I Soul Prison, he will toss the Field Captain, which means I need to set up a reasonable defense to this Tren through my current cards. What I'm thinking is I'm probably going to just tempo out everything, expect hopefully that this Tren ticks up, and then Fumes is available to me with a Suffocate the following turn. Or with a Soul Prison, I should say. Gonna see what I get here. Yeah, this trend is going to be a big problem for me. I might even just put enough power on the board that I can trade into it. My opponent DC'd. No. No. What a terrible game 6. Okay, he's back. He's back. Okay, so he discarded a death trap. He recognizes that that's useless against me, even though I now lack the resources to deal with it. All right, Elvis Champion's gone too. Now the question is, do I care enough that I want to get a Servants out now? I'm thinking not, because if I play Servants, this trades in, and then this goes face. If I don't play Servants, this goes face, and this goes face, and I can still trade in. This doesn't really affect any of the trades that I want to make. The concern is he can pay 5, and this goes up to a 7/7. I can't trade with a 7/7 here, but also because of this coming in, I couldn't trade with a 7/7 from the Servants. So I am just going to leave it. I'm going to save this, hopefully be able to get something more meaningful out of it. Definitely not going to attack here, because I do want this for its blocking capability. If I could get both Servants out, I would absolutely coin for it. But because I can only get one, I've only got the 1 mana at the moment. It's not worth it. Now, the good news about Tren is on my coming turn, if he does attack in with everything, now he's only got 2 cards left, so there will be a limit on kind of the amount of blockers he can play, and he might choose that he wants to put more Might Emblems on. There it is, perfect. Yes, use 2 of your mana on that, please. Giving it a Shield Emblem? Which means I would only have 4. Giving it a Might Emblem. Okay, so 7, 8, 9 coming in. I can't block. This has Unstoppable. There's no point in just sacrificing the power, which I do need to trade into that. The good news is 3/3 now. Suffocate here is looking very promising. I just need to figure out exactly how I'm going to distribute that. So Suffocate will take, well, it'll kill this, which is essentially all I'm playing it for, and then this will be a 6, and then I have enough power. Now I can save one of my things by utilizing the Harpy going here and using the Noxious Fumes. So that's going to be the play. Alternatively, I can be less of an idiot. Oh my god, why am I talking about that? Let's just use the Soul Prison and the Noxious Fumes together. That'll be a much better use of resources. Goodbye, my friend Tren. Oh, I'm so glad that's dealt with. In the coming turns, there are 2 things that I want to do. I want to Eternal Servants for 2 of them, and I want to press the button. I want to press this button for health. I did catch it. It's just, it's been a longish day. Slowly getting in that kind of quarantine fugue. It's only been a couple days since we started it, but Life Course Incarnate is not what you want to see. I'm glad you were ready to help me there, though, Contrary. That's excellent. Okay, so that's just dead, right? I'm happy with that. I am going to take the mana, and excellent. So, I know my whole turn, it's this and then this, but I also want that to go away. So, here's how we're going to play it. And let's see what happens. Good, he's not running Touch of Might. Even if he was, it would die anyway. That's a joke. No one should run that card. It's really bad. Here's my Darius. Heals me up. Here's my Servants. Thins my deck, which is nice. I'll draw better cards now. But also that heal for 2 when I'm this low is potentially going to be quite useful. And I am threatening Bezarok next turn. Doesn't do as much against these high-level decks. So, like, it can get 1 Life Force Incarnate. That's not useful. So it can sometimes only get 1, in which case there's usually other plays. However, both of these are on cooldown. Suffocate, it's not necessarily the best into this type of deck. It depends exactly what cards he's playing, depends how wide he wants to go. Suffocate with this board pre-existing can be really good because I can trade in and then, use this as the gap. However, I will happily, so happily, Bezarok to kill an Antriel. Go away. I don't think I need the second Servants, and yeah, that's a win. All right. 3 quick battles, yay. Yeah, there he goes. He did indeed scoop their contrary. All right, that's my 3 games on that one. I think I will actually go through the effort of doing a quick chop. I probably won't chop significantly, just get rid of the non-game parts of these streams. But yeah, cheers for being here. I think you saw 2 or 3 of the games. I've forgotten already. And I will probably make this into a video with really not much editing.